Good afternoon. Welcome to our June Town Hall meeting. We're so thankful that you've joined us today, and as we always do, we're going to start with a moment of centering silence. Thank you. We have a really nice agenda for you today. Matt is on vacation, a well-deserved vacation with the family. So we're all of us are pitching in, stepping in. I'll be your host for today. I hope that's all right. We welcome a number of members of our management team to present. And today we have somebody new that has not presented. And so I'm going to hand over, I call this the clicker, I'm going to hand this clicker over to Steve Minter. Steve Minter is our Associate Executive Director for the Guilford campus. And this is his first presentation to the residents here at West, and I hope you'll join me in welcoming Steve.
Good afternoon. Pleasure to be with you. And just as we start, just want to share some fun facts. At least I found them to be fun. We have 717 residents, thereabouts, between West Guilford and our four healthcare venues that we're serving today. We have 21 committees that are active. So very active resident population. That comes out to about 1 in every 25 residents are represented by a committee, so in independent living. So that's pretty good. Just points to a very active community. And you know, last week, I think it's last week, I counted up the events. We had 94 scheduled events last week that were offered. I don't know, did anybody attend all 94? I'd like to meet you. So, you know, that just points to some of the routine work that we're doing with 700 plus residents, 3 meals a day, 2,100 plus team members' meals that dining services is responsible for. So a lot of good work going on just on a routine basis. And with that, we do have some other than the routine, we've got some other things going on coming up. Today we went to a live person answering the phone when you dial the main number. Probably that will affect more outside callers, but you as well, if you dial 2559 from outside or internally, you will get a live person rather than first going to the auto attendant and then being directed. So don't be alarmed if you get a live person. That is in place now, so you should, if you've called in the last hour or so, you should have heard either Paula or Sherry over at Guilford answering the phone and directing you. We think that's the response to some feedback we've received in the past, and I think that's a good improvement. If they're not able to answer the phone for some reason, you'll then be directed to the auto attendant that you're used to. But we made a very few bit of minor adjustments. So what you don't have to worry about is it doesn't change what number you call from what you're used to. If you need security, you can still dial 2559 and it will get you to the right place. So none of that changes, just try to have a little more personal service. We're working through a beauty shop assessment. Lots more to come on that in future meetings. Sydney and Kelly, I don't know which or both, are going to talk to you a little bit about Fowl of Life, and so I'll just put a plug in to please participate and keep your information updated. That's very important. They'll give you a lot more details later today. Dining services and facilities have worked hard to get our part of the Ruth Dining Room over at Guilford reopened faster than planned. So I won't steal Carly's thunder. She'll tell you the date. So that's a tease. I mean, give the date away. But that is occurring faster than originally anticipated. That's really good news. And then lastly, I would encourage you, if you haven't attended one of the Discover Assisted Living sessions, those will continue to go on. That's a really, I think, educational. We've had good feedback from those sessions. So if you see that on the calendar, that might be worth your while to attend. Next, this I think was Matt's rumor mill. I think it's a really good idea. We just have one rumor to address today. So I'll take that on. The rumor, once an independent living home is vacated, the resident must continue paying the monthly service fee until the home is sold. That's the rumor. So the truth of the matter is that service fees stop after a home is vacated with assistance from the resident services coordinator. That's very important that you involve the resident services coordinator in that process. And then applicable entry fee refunds are issued after the home is sold. So, makes sense? That's the rumor. Now you know the truth, and you can feel free to spread that. All right? So with that, I'd like to introduce you, if you haven't met him already, to James McNeil. He's going to come. And that's just another reminder about moving to the lab. That's Paula and Sherry. If you haven't, you may not have met Sherry. It's her picture at the Guilford campus. James, take it away.
Okay, I'm James McNeil. Is it okay to give a bio? My first time on the platform, just to let you know who I am. So I was born in Asheboro, but raised in Greensboro. And after I graduated high school, went to join the Navy and served in the Navy. It was the best place ever at the time. Got in the military. I joined the High Point Police Department. I was there 25 and a half years. Best place at the time. And retired there and came to Friends Homes. Favorite place ever. So glad to be here. I'm in the Public Safety Department. I'm the supervisor, not the director, but the supervisor here at Friends Homes. And just a makeup of these guys is pretty much, all of them been pretty much public servants, military. We've got a retired Greensboro police officer, a retired High Point firefighter. So a bunch of good guys who are all about serving the public. So happy to be here. Just touch base on a couple things. If you see someone aimlessly wandering around, or somebody you gather that you're suspicious or your suspicions, please give us a call so we can kind of vet them and direct them over here if they're a visitor and just don't know where to go. Don't let anybody inside the premises. We all are responsible for each other. So we're like our brothers keepers as far as safety and everything. And we don't want the one that's not supposed to be here on campus, or we don't want the solicitors who have to check in. If someone's knocking on your door, you don't recognize them, don't open the door. You can give us a call and have us check them out. Also, that's not me. As far as transportation, we're also part of our job is transportation. So we respond to emergency calls, pull cords, or if calls have emergency, medical emergency, we're typically the first one on the scene. Some of our guys are EMTs or CNAs, so they have medical experience. Also trained in CPR and first aid. That's one of the things we do. If you don't hit that little blue button, we come knocking on your door and make sure you're okay. And that's the check-in button to make sure everybody's accounted for. As far as transportation, we do all the transports here, the medical transports, excursions, special trips. One thing that will help us as well, that I'll look at the list that you sign up on for these excursions or care merge, and that gives me an idea of how many people's going on the trips, and that way I can schedule drivers and buses. So if something happens, and we know it does all the time, and you have to back out of the trip, please cross your name off, and that way it kind of gives us an idea to be more accurate on if I can maybe eliminate a driver or a bus or some of the sorts. That'll make it easy. Happy to be here. That's all I have to talk about.
Thank you, James. James and his department really help out the campus life department tremendously, so he's always very supportive of us. So I've got a couple, I'm Whitney Ariza, Director of Campus Life. I don't think I mentioned that when I came up. We've got a couple of events coming up that I wanted to highlight in June. Starting on Thursdays, we're having a program called Thursdays at the Lounge. Starts tomorrow. It's very informal. Residents can come and bring an appetizer to share and something to drink, and it's just a social gathering for about an hour before dinner. So we hope that you'll join. You don't have to sign up for it. It's just a time to come and meet new people, make new friends, and see old friends maybe. So that's on Thursdays. We've got 2 events planned for Father's Day. We have the Dad's Day Bluegrass Bash with the Sassafras Band over at Guilford, Thursday, June 13th at 1:30. And then we're doing a picnic for Pops on Friday, June 14th from 11:30 to 1:30. And this is going to be in the Wellness Courtyard as well as the Hub. We have an amazing menu. Carly may mention some things about Picnic for Pops. Or, yeah, you've got to sign up for it. So if you're interested in coming, please sign up. This will be the menu in the Hub for lunch that day, so there won't be a regular Hub menu that day. It'll be Picnic for Pops. We encourage you to invite your family. If you have any family that you want to invite, guests are welcome. We just need to know they're coming. Another event coming is our Summer Solstice Shrimp Boil. That will be Thursday, June 20th on Summer Solstice. 11:30 to 1:30, a really impressive menu. All the menus can be found on CareMerge, but we'll have the standard shrimp, potatoes, corn, and sausage, and then a couple different kinds of salad. We'll have some music and some outdoor games, and that's going to be over on the Guilford campus. The Ruth Dining Room will be open for seating as well as seating outdoors. And then we have Sweet Scoops. This is our ice cream social, Thursday, June 27th. Carson Spearing will be here with the development team, and it's really just a time to say thank you for all of the residents who have contributed to the Resident Assistance Fund. So please come out. That'll be a nice treat to get some ice cream that day. All right, and another biggie. Brightspire has a community called Glen Eyre, and they have arranged a trip to go to Nashville. And they have some open spots, and they have invited Friends Homes to come along. So there's a very detailed itinerary and some information, but if you are at all interested in going to Nashville for an overnight trip, August 1st through 5th, come see me. I'd love to give you some details and more information about it. But it'll be Glen Eyre and then also some River Landing residents, a really fun group of residents to go. So if you have any interest, I would love to talk more about that with you. Okay, bulletin boards on our campus here at West. There's some changes that you've probably seen outside of the cubbies here in this hallway. That big bulletin board came down, and we have a digital bulletin board that went up, a digital TV. It's going to become an avenue for you to be able to get information, but it's not going to be like what you're used to. You're used to kind of a scrolling digital sign. This is actually going to be a stationary sign of the happenings for the week at the top, and then at the bottom there's going to be some highlights. You know, it could be coming the next 2 or 3 weeks, but it's not something that'll scroll. It's just going to be something stationary for you to reference. There's going to be a resident association bulletin board that's going to be added beside that. This board will have pertinent information related to the resident association, and only resident association board members will be posting on that. So if you have something that you feel would be beneficial to post, you'll have to go through the resident board for that one. The community board, if you're looking at the cubbies on this side, the community board that's on the right, that's going to remain unchanged. It's still going to be there. But if residents want to post on that, we are asking that you write the date of the posting and your cubby number on the back. After 2 weeks, we're going to take it down and put it back in your cubby. If it's something that you feel like needs to be posted for longer, you can change the date on it and repost it. But we're trying to eliminate having a lot of outdated information on our bulletin boards. And so that's a way for the resident community board to be kept up to date. And then in the coming weeks, we're gonna be looking at bulletin boards across both campuses and kind of getting a plan for the future. So if you're interested in being a part of this task force, please come talk with me. I'd love to have your input when we take a look at the bulletin boards as a whole across our campus. We are going to have a new information station here at West. This is the cubby section that you see here that has the shelving beside it. We're going to be moving the sign-up book over to this information station. We're going to clean up the sign-up book and make it a little better organized so you're able to find trips easier. We're going to store dining information and menus in this information station. We'll have some blank paper, pens and pencils available. We're really trying to clean up some of the areas, especially on that front hallway. So we're asking that you, as residents, please do not post your own flyers or documents or mailers unless you've cleared it with a staff member. Sometimes we walk in the hall and there's a lot of paper laying around. So if it's something you feel like is an important thing to get posted, please just come see me, Hannah, Matt, if you think it needs to be shared with all of our residents. And then you may have noticed the pill bottle collection and the lid collection are no longer in that main hallway. They've moved to activity room 1, where we keep the packages. So we're still collecting those things. We've just taken it out of that center hallway. Okay, that was a lot of information. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to come and see me. Up next is Jasmine.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jasmine Hernandez, the Wellness Director here. And I wanted to talk about our Encompass program here. And some of you may or may not, hopefully you do, know what our Encompass Wellness program is. So it is more than just the physical, the classes, the fitness center, but we have 6 different wellness dimensions. We have community outreach, intellectual, nutritional, physical, social, and spiritual. So wellness for you might look different for wellness with the person beside you. If you attend a Bible study, then you fall under spiritual. If you go to Teaching Kitchen, then you fall under nutritional. Or if you attend one of my classes, then you go to physical. So wellness is different, and I just wanted to highlight that this is all for a well-rounded experience. And so with that, I wanted to talk more about our fitness classes. Why should you come? Well, each of our class is designed for something specific. So it could be our aerobics class, which can work on your cardio health, your range of motion. It could be more of our yoga, which works on your flexibility, upper and lower body strength, endurance, agility, and balance. We try to add variety in our program. We have over 44 different classes in a week. That is a lot, and you can choose from Monday to Saturday. And here are some of the benefits that come from attending a class. It improves your mood, your sleep, fall prevention, social interaction, improves brain health, and increase blood circulation. Now, this is just a few of many benefits that attending a class offers, or just exercising and moving your body. Now, I do want to say that with our 44 classes, if there is not one that you like, please come to me for suggestions or ideas. I'm happy to be open. We have a really great team, over 15 instructors. Kayla and I are working hard to give you that well-balanced program. Now, this is what you were waiting for, hopefully, is all of our upcoming events for this month. Now, we have a new class called Aqua Flow. That's every Tuesday at 9:30. Now, this was a class that was suggested by one of your peers. They really wanted to attend a pool class, but it was just too intense. So we created Aqua Flow, a low-impact class that works on your flexibility and mobility, and this is taught by your wellness team. We have another class called Zumba Fusion. This is a hybrid between seated and standing. It is dancing and moving, and we just had our very first one today. We have Juneteenth Walk of Celebration, that is on June 19th. And we're gonna meet at the Wellness Center main entrance starting at 9 o'clock. And then that same day, we have a wellness presentation with yours truly, Kayla. Exercise apps on your phone. We'll have Guilford Living Room at 2 p.m. and then we'll have the West Living Room at 3 p.m. Then June 20th, we have an outdoor trail hike with Chris. This is resident led. You'll meet in the Wellness Center, main entrance at 9 o'clock. Then June 25th, we have a speaker coming in, clinical cardiometabolic presentation by Kimberly. She's the director of clinic services at Revolution Health Clinic, and that will be at 3 o'clock in the West Living Room. Then lastly, on June 26th, we have a beginner pickleball clinic with Ron and Michelle. They are coming back at 2 p.m. the Wellness Center Sports Court. Now, if you have any questions about this, feel free to contact your wellness team. And that is it for me.
Making my way up here, sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. I am your Resident Services Coordinator. And just wanted to give you a quick update. I know that you've heard a lot about the File of Life. Many of you have been wonderful about getting that back to us. We are still waiting on a few, so if you guys don't mind filling that out and getting it back to us, we would greatly appreciate that. They will be returned to you with a letter with instructions. I know that we gave you a letter to begin with instructions, but we just want to make sure that we're very clear with what we want you guys to do with that File of Life. Putting your DNR in the front. If you have a MOS form, you can also put it in there, as well as keeping that sheet that we folded up and put in your red holder. So we have all of that. If you've turned it in, we do have it for you. We're just going to put it in with the letter in your mailbox. Now, we've gotten this question quite a bit. We've talked a lot about DNR, that's do not resuscitate. That is different than a living will. So you have a living will, and it could say in there that you don't want to be resuscitated, but they're not going to follow that unless you have the golden piece of paper from your doctor. So make sure, even if you have that living will, that you have that gold DNR from your doctor's office filled out properly, signed. If there's an expiration date, that expiration date is kept updated so that we do not do any pumping if you do not want it. So just make sure that you have that gold piece of paper, whether you have a living will or not. Let me back up. If you have a living will and that's in your living will, make sure you also have your DNR. Sorry. This is what a DNR looks like, the gold paper. Sometimes people will refer to it as a golden rod. You can see why. And then this is your living will. So even if you have that without this, then this is null and void. Doesn't matter. They're going to do CPR. That was a fun conversation to have with you all. Thank you. We will move on to EBS. Light topic.
Hey everybody. Sorry, I was mowing grass this past weekend, so ragweed's in full bloom right now. It's great. So I'm Daryl Shores, I'm the director of EBS and Grounds. Just want to get a quick program update about you. So we've heard several residents talk about finding dog waste around the villas, particularly in Ridgecrest and Quaker Hill. So one of the programs that we're going to roll out this coming August is a way to actually test that. So we're going to pair with a program called Poop Wrench, which is honestly, it's a terrible name. But regardless of that, so the idea is that residents can bring their pets. We'll basically do a cheek swab of that animal, and it'll be collected into a database. Now, the one good thing about that database is, say your dog does get out of your apartment, that is an international database that allows for any kind of tracking. So if your dog gets out, it can go back to you, potentially. So the idea would be that we would have signage around, and hopefully this will reduce the amount of dogways that we find around campus. Also on that note, I've spoke to several residents about adding another dogway station. Instead of adding one, I think we found there's one behind Villa 520 that doesn't really get utilized that much. So instead we're gonna move that one up to the mailbox kiosk. So hopefully I feel like that's more of a general and accessible area for residents, so we'll move that up in the next week or so. Other than that, back onto this topic here, like I said, we'll have a date, which is August 26th. Will be a lot more information coming out at that point. There is no, you don't buy into this, there's nothing there. So like basically you just bring your animal there, we'll do the collection there, there's no fees associated with that. And then the database is created at that point that Friends Homes will have access to see. Other than that, it's a really good program. I think it's gonna pair well with what we're trying to do and reduce the amount of waste that we find around campus. So that is all I've got. But thank you all.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Ford. I'm your Director of Maintenance here at Friends Homes, and I have a very condensed set of slides today as opposed to last month. So this is it. So we're cutting it out a lot like the bulletin boards around here. We're making it shorter. So Russell Shepard, a lot of you all knew Russell. Russell has retired after 14 years of service here at Friends Homes. He has big shoes to fill, but Matthew Valdez is going to do his best to fill those shoes. So he has moved over from the EVS department, so you may recognize Matthew. He is now working with us here in maintenance and will be performing all of your work order needs moving forward. An update on the storm doors. A number of you live in the townhomes and cottages and have requested for storm doors. I literally just got the text message as I was sitting in this chair that they are in the warehouse here in the Triad. So we're going to work on getting them from the warehouse to literally our house, your house, and get those installed. So more to come on that. Air filters. This is air filter month for us. So all across both campuses, we will be installing air filters in all of your units. And if your units have smoke detectors that require batteries to be changed, we'll be changing those out as well on this rotation. So Mark Sattel and the team will be setting that up and giving notice to those folks. And I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, the Guilford roof replacement project is all but finished, so more to come on that. Carly will tell you more there. A wonderful resident who lives over on the Guilford side came to me and said, hey, you know, there's a porch at Whittier, and it's a real nice big porch. It's the healthcare building on that side of campus, and he says it just gets really hot out there. Is there anything you think we could do to make it more attractive for residents to be out there? I said, I haven't spent a lot of time out there. It was probably my first month here. He said, well, I'm going to go buy some ceiling fans. Do you think you could get those installed for us? And I said, sure, we could work that out. So we finally got that project completed. And now that's the photo there to the right, where we have two nice little ceiling fans sitting in that beautiful courtyard area over at Guilford. So thank you to that resident. I don't know if they want to be named. That's why I haven't shared who they are. But we appreciate that. The west parking lot lights here, they are coming in this month. I have it under good information. I don't have tracking information yet, but I've been told it'll be mid-June when they come in, so I expect to fix the 6 remaining parking lot lights that are not working here at West. And, you know, it's really hard to articulate all the little things that we do, but we're always trying to do something to make life easier, make life better. And it may not be a big thing that's worth putting on a slideshow, but for anybody that goes to Woolman, you know, there's a set of double doors. You have to scan your badge. You have to go all the way over in the corner and scan your badge, and then kind of run back to the center and hope it works. That didn't make sense to me, so we moved it to closer to the center of the door. Little things like that. You know, there's been a automatic operator upstairs in the hub that when you hit the button, it's been slamming into the wall. It's probably been there for months. And truth be told, folks have been telling me, and we finally got it fixed. You know, put a little wall bumper in, we adjusted it. It's no longer slamming the door. It's working how it should. You know, there's some, and I had no idea about this because I don't use the women's restroom very often. But apparently we have some seats that had lids, you know, like a normal commode lid. And it was, when it's left up in the up position, it would block the sensor and the commode wouldn't flush. just little things like that. So we're in the process of getting that fixed. So we do lots of little things that aren't really worth bragging about and making a big slide about. And that's probably 80% of what I do, is this kind of small stuff in the background. So I'm just trying to highlight a little bit of it for you today, but that's all I have prepared. So thank you very much.
Hello everybody, I'm here with some dining updates. So I have several staffing updates and I did my best to put pictures up for you all. So first and foremost, so Caleb, you all probably know Caleb from the Hub. Caleb's been with us several years. He has accepted a supervisor position, still in dining, and so we are super excited to offer that opportunity to him. It is primarily for the Guilford campus, so he will start over there on the 10th, and he'll be training with some of our team members there. He will still be back here to visit and support where he's needed. You know, we cross-train all of our dining team, but I did just want to share that. It's a really exciting opportunity. Caleb is very excited about it, so if you see him, make sure to congratulate him. And so then we are actively looking at who will fill his shoes. He's another one that has big shoes to fill, so. We also have hired a registered dietitian. Her name is Riley McNamara. I don't have a picture of her, but she should be here for the next town hall and I can introduce her. Riley was a dietary aide in Whittier before she went to do her internship, so we're excited that she's able to come back to us in a different capacity. And so she will start on the 10th as well. We've also had a visitor. For those of you that have dined with us at the Ruth in the past 2 weeks, we have had Hun Miles with us. So Hun is a project manager for Compass Community Living. We have access to really great resources like that. So Hun works for an optimization team and they travel around and just go wherever they're needed, wherever they can support to provide some different training, whether it's front of house, working specifically with the servers. So he has been with us and he will be here through June 20th. So he does have a name tag, but I did want to put his picture up as well. I know when we have visitors, it's important to know who they are, but you'll see him probably floating around the Ruth, especially as we get into reopening. And then some other news, so long waited, the Ruth will be opening the other side on Monday, June 10th. So starting on the 10th, we will be back to normal business. We will be open for visitors and guests, and then we will also do away with those 2 meal times at dinner. So we'll go back to kind of business as usual. We're working with our servers right now and getting the room reset, and we're super excited to be able to go back to normal. I did just want to remind you all with menus. So the most up-to-date menus and dining information is on CareMerge. You know, we do print things out, and we do print a limited number of those paper copies, but I just wanted to remind you all, for the events that Whitney listed, you know, you can go through Sabrina if you would like, but also you can sign up on CareMerge, and just knowing that that is the best place to go and find that information. And then lastly, I had a question from a resident a few days ago about credit card readers, which we've talked about before. But I just wanted to remind you all, the Hub is not the only place that we have credit card readers. So we have them at all of our venues. So if you or you have guests that want to come and pay that way, that is an option. So I just wanted to remind you all. And that is it for me.
Thank you, Carly. This isn't part of my slides, but I was just thinking as we went through the presentation that for our employees, we have a few very tangible examples of opportunity that have been fulfilled here at Friends Homes. When we mentioned Matthew moving from the Environmental Services Department up into a maintenance technician role, that's a promotion. That represents opportunity. When we think about Caleb, who joined us in 2022, if you know Caleb, he's a hard worker, he's consistent, he's always smiling. He's young though, you know, right? And so he doesn't have a lot of experience. And so for somebody like that who's energetic, devoted, loyal, hardworking, we have a responsibility as a management team to find new opportunities for these types of employees. And we have a couple real examples of where we were able to do that. We call that career pathing. It's up to us to illuminate that to our talented staff, to all staff, and say, hey, look, there's some opportunities at Friends Homes. And if you stick with us and you're loyal and you do a good job, we're gonna find something for you. And so I'm very pleased and proud to say that we were able to do that with some of these folks. And I think even when we look at the dietitian that once worked for us in a completely different capacity, who obtained a degree and got some experience in her role, well, she had such a good experience that she was willing to come back to Friends Homes. That's another goal achieved. So really, really proud that we're able to do that. We're gonna make that an emphasis because that all ties into retention. And that's really one of our biggest challenges and goals is to retain more staff. A few requests from the residents and responses. Number one, can you update the care merge directory? The original request from resident was to have all staff in the care merge directory. And we thought, well, that's interesting, but I don't know that we really can do that. The task of getting all staff, we have about 450 employees, onto care merge, and truth be told, we do have turnover, and I think that would be a full-time job in some sense. So what did we do? Well, we have a new manager on duty every single weekend. Everybody's aware of that we have a manager on duty now. And there's a list of folks who participate in that program. It's pretty extensive, but they're generally supervisors or above, coordinators or above. And so we've taken all of those folks and we've put them onto the care merge directory. So generally, if there's anybody with some level of authority as a leader in our community, they're now on care merge. And I think that's a great suggestion and a great step in the right direction. Request, we want to enjoy walking our campus. Can you do anything about pet waste? Well, Daryl just mentioned, we are taking a tangible step towards improving that situation. And we are doing it through that new program. And the next request, when will the hub menu be revised? Well, here's some of our answers. The hub menu refresh was completed on May 27th. Now, you might look at that menu and say, there's a lot of things that haven't changed. And why is that? Because the items that are on that menu still today are the items that sell really well. And so for every request to change, there's a possibility that we might frustrate some people as well. If we remove the burger or the pulled pork sliders or whatever that might be, there's favorites that people are ordering routinely. And so we did add some items. The salmon cakes are an example. There was a request, instead of having the brioche buns, I believe it's brioche buns that we were using for the chicken salad sandwiches, we've replaced those with croissants instead. So these are subtle differences, subtle additions, and we can make more if we think it's the right thing to do, and we'll look to the food service committee, the dining service committee, I should say, to make those types of suggestions. But again, we're making incremental changes to refresh that menu, but also stay true to some of those favorites that we know folks enjoy. Census update, we're doing well. We continue to track ahead of budget, slightly in some areas, but generally we're right on track. In independent living, our actual census is 94.1% compared to a budget of 91. In AL, we're at 89.8. Above a budget of 88%, and in skilled nursing, we are at 93.6 compared to 93% census. This is great, and we're more than halfway through the year. At this point, we're doing well. Financially, this should not come as a surprise. I look around the room and I see a lot of folks who joined us at the semi-annual meeting. These numbers are based on our financial performance for the first 6 months of the year. So this is month ending in April, because again, our fiscal year begins in October, not in January. But as you can see, if the laser will show up well enough, we have positive variances in our revenue. We have a positive variance in our expenses. that all leads to a positive variance in our net operating income. This is where you want to be at this time of the year. And finally, some notable management activities. This is sort of a summary. We have identified a final candidate for the Director of Sales, and we'll be making an announcement shortly. We're still working out a few different things, but we believe we're at a good place to hopefully make an announcement soon that we will have a full-time Director of Sales. You may recall that Laura Lowe, our Executive Director from the Management Services Office from BrightSpire, has been our Director of Sales for the last few months, and she's done a great job, but we'll have a permanent candidate soon. We are also at a final stage for hopefully announcing very soon our communication coordinator. We've received very positive news just a couple hours ago confirming that we have a candidate. You know, we want to wait a little bit. It always is a little squirrely moment before they show up with these candidates, but we will be letting you know at a very near point when we are able to, that we have a communication coordinator coming on board. That will round out the campus life department. At that point, the department is complete. We have an events coordinator, we have a communications coordinator, we have our wellness coordinator, a wellness director, and then our life enrichment coordinators as well. So it's a big department, big team, and as you know, how many activities was that? What is it? 94 activities. They're coordinating all of that, in addition to all the wellness that we produce here and all the events. Director of Health Services, Hannah Davis. Does anybody know Hannah? She's presented sporadically from time to time, but she's in charge of all of our healthcare services, our assisted living at both campuses, our skilled nursing at both campuses. She's been presenting recently in our Discover Assisted Living presentations, which I hope everybody here will attend at some point. She's returning home to our sister. We have a community in her hometown, Scotia Village, and she and her husband are pretty much born and raised there. And there was an opportunity that came up within the portfolio of communities there, and she was offered. We knew she was from that neck of the woods, and we wanted to give her that opportunity first. And she and her family have decided to make that move. They'll be surrounded by family. This is a positive move for her, and we wish her the best. I want you to be aware of that because we are recruiting for somebody to step into that role. We've had some great candidates, but we'll be making that transition the first week of July, and we'll, if we haven't identified and onboarded a new Director of Healthcare Services, we will be joined by somebody from the Managed Services Office who will hold down that area and do a great job. So I just want you to be aware of what's going on, sort of behind the scenes. And then just a reminder that we are in the midst of master planning for the future at Friends Homes. We conducted what I heard from the residents who are involved, a fantastic focus group that was very interactive. My understanding is that it was over 2 hours long, and there was a lot of candid and spirited feedback provided from the residents. And I think I'm seeing some heads nodding yes, which is encouraging. We've really enjoyed thus far the process of master planning and discovering and sharing about, you know, what is the future of Friends Homes? You know, what are we going to do with that land by the bridge? You know, what will we do to take this community into the future and maybe improve things or address areas that need work, or, you know, whatever that may be. We are discovering as a team with the residents, with the Board of Trustees, with members of the BrightSpire Managed Services Office, managers here at the community. We really are trying to be collaborative and transparent in this process, so happy to answer any questions you might have about that. And with that, we will transition to a great part of the presentation, which is question and answer. And so Terry will be helping us with the microphone. And I think, Jasmine, are you helping us? Yeah. We'll have a couple microphones going around. We just ask that you, the microphone has to be very close to your mouth in order for it to work, unfortunately. So just a reminder for that.
question, I'm not sure this is on, is it on?
Yes.
Okay. About the menu when we call Kohl's. At one meeting, we were told that was going to be updated so that we could bypass. Is at least a 2-minute menu that you have to listen to just to order. And it's something we all know, and we were told there'd be a way to bypass that, but
There is, and I've been back and forth with the phone company, so our part is finished, and I'm in the process of continuing to kind of request an update. I know they've been working on the phone system for the front desk, so I would think that it will happen, but as soon as I have a date or I know, we'll put that out so you can expect it, but we're waiting on them to just make a live date, but they have everything they need from us.
thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up.
I have 2 questions. Very quick. The first is for Whitney. Pill containers. Just the amber ones or anything a pill has ever come in. And then one for Sydney. Just request that you speak briefly about the most forms.
The pill containers can be any type of container that had a pill inside of it. Because what we're doing is sending it to an organization that reuses those, and they put medication, it's a medication storage for others to use. The key is, if it has any of your information on it, you want to remove that. So if you give us your pill container, make sure that you peel the label off, because anybody could see what you're taking and your health information. So just make sure it doesn't have any labeling on it. But it can be anything, even a vitamin container.
Can it have vitamin label still on it?
It can have the vitamin label, yes, just no personal information. Yeah, it could be an over-the-counter fish oil, anything, yeah.
I'm back for more fun. So a most form is on a hot pink piece of paper. You get that from your doctor as well, so that's a doctor order. That form goes into a lot more detail on, you can spell out exactly how you want things to happen, what you want to happen, what you don't want to happen, and all of that again is filled out with your doctor. But again, the DNR is the most important to have in the very front. If you have a most form, you keep it in that file of life. Or some people have chosen to still keep that blue folder in their closet. That's not where emergency is going to go to first. They're going to go to the file of life first, but they may go and look in there for other papers as well. We would recommend though DNR, that emergency form, and if you have a most form, having that in there as well. And again, that's a doctor order, so you get that from them and you fill it out with them, letting them know your exact wishes for how you want things to go if there's a decline.
I have a fear, and I have a fear that as we talk about the file of life, that some people in this room, maybe it's not important, or they don't know what we're talking about just because, you know, for whatever reason. So we want to provide this information to make it as easy as possible for emergency responders to follow your wishes and be able to help you if there's an emergency. If anything doesn't make sense, or you need another explanation about it, or you want to get the file of life and see what it means and what it's all about, please just go see Sydney. And she will take time, she will help you, she will work with you if you need that assistance, or if you know somebody that might need some help that maybe is not in this room, maybe missed that message, please let us know. We're trying to provide the tools. There is a certain amount that is up to you to take it the rest of the way, kind of bring it across the finish line. But ultimately, this is all our best attempt to try and help you. I hope that's okay.
Also, we have a resident services tab on CareMerge, and all of these forms, a copy, it says sample across the front, so you can't fill these out. A copy of all of these different types of forms that we've talked about are on there, so if you want to take a look at it before you go to your doctor's office and just kind of see what to expect, what the form looks like, what questions you'll have to answer, that sort of thing, they're all on CareMerge, and if you need help getting to those, I'd be happy to help you with that.
question is, I have some questions about the sincerity of ensuring our safety and well-being. Let me begin that as we walked to this meeting, we walked down a hall which has a very fine, strong, good-looking railing. That's good for us. We're not likely to fall over. If you came down some stairs, more than likely, there was a banister. That is for our safety. And today, I went to the pool, as I frequently do, and I went to the men's locker room. And the shower in there, well, the two showers in there have grab bars in them. They also have a fold-down seat. That's good for the safety of the person in the shower. My villa, my apartment, neither in the bathroom off the master bedroom or the guest bedroom, there is nothing there to protect anyone using those, that they're not going to fall. And when I came here, I was told that if you wanted grab bars as a resident, you had to pay for them yourself. Now, that I find very puzzling, because if I'm paying for it, is that a reflection of what I read previously, that ensuring our safety and well-being is our top priority? That's more important. What is more important? Why was the policy not made to put grab bars in all of the bathrooms that had showers and bathtubs?
The reality is that there's many apartments here that do have grab bars. We've been around for a long time, and I would venture to say many of them do. And then your phase of homes that you chose to move into, it wasn't included in the construction plans. There's a number of things that, when you make a decision to build a phase of homes, you decide, do we put it in? Do we not put it in? Examples that came up here in this building were some automatic door openers that we didn't put in. Through time we did. The decision for your phase of apartments was that they didn't put them in. We've started to, with renovations of units, add them. The Buildings and Grounds committees have advocated for grab bars to be put into units. The Guilford campus actually introduced a concept called universal design, which is a all-encompassing approach to how we design future apartments, and it goes beyond grab bars. It's the heights of cabinets, the heights of toilets. It does include grab bars. Microwaves, instead of microwaves being up high for you to reach into above your stove, they actually make a pull-out drawer microwave, which makes it much safer. So there's concepts that we have to explore as a community. There's much more that we could do for future designing to address what your very real concern is. The reality is that when we opened your phase, it just wasn't included. I can't tell you why. I don't know. I wasn't involved in that concept, but we did make it available to a number of folks who did make the decision to put grab bars in their homes, their independent living homes. I don't have an answer other than that. One of the things that we did commit to doing was to audit how many homes don't have them currently, and find out what magnitude of a project it would be to put grab bars in the existing homes that don't have them. So that's something that we committed to do this year in order to allocate some funding potentially in the future. That's the best way that I can answer that question. We need to know how many homes don't have grab bars, and then of course you create a budget, and then you request the budget dollars, and you decide if that's something that we need to do. If you feel like you need them now, I would suggest that you speak with Mark, and we'll figure out something. So I don't know what else to say about that. Your original question was, why didn't you put that in there? I wasn't involved in those decisions, but we recognize the need. Going forward, future development, we talk about master planning, and let's just say we build another phase of homes. That will certainly be considered. Absolutely. It's a legitimate concern.
Two quick items. One is relative to letting visitors in the building. Could there be a sign at each of the entries to the apartments that directs people who are not badged to go to main reception with some kind of a direction arrow to get them there? And the second thing is, with Russell leaving, if we wanted to send him a card of some sort, could we put it, where could we leave that card so it would get to him?
We'll be happy to send that to him, so if you deliver it, I would say Paula can get it to the right place, and we'll be happy to take care of addressing it and putting it in the mail. That's a very nice gesture. Thank you for that. As far as the signage goes, I think that's something that we can share that suggestion with Mark and the committee, the Buildings and Grounds Committee, and I like the idea. Of course, I always say this, signs inform, they don't enforce. And we always have to be careful with how much signage we have in certain locations. If we have signage all over the place, sometimes it gets lost. But I think that's why we work with the committee to vet the idea and see if it's something that they would encourage, and if it is something they encourage, then we work with them on a mutually agreeable plan.
I was at a marketing event when the villas were just barely coming up, and someone asked why there were no grab bars, and the answer was that they had focus groups, and the people that were the focus groups thought that having grab bars would make it seem like they were old.
I have heard that. Yes, I can confirm that was part of the problem. Yeah, whenever we do any type of a building project, we do typically go to focus groups. We do solicit customers of the future units. Now, there's people that agree with that. There are people that will disagree with that. We just make a decision. We have to live with it and then find a solution if it doesn't work out. Yes.
Added to what you just said about the grab bars, none of the villas had the grab bars at the completion of the villas itself, and the cost to have them installed was just ridiculous, and that's why we still have no grab bars. So I'd support you, Larry, with what you said about the grab bars. I think it's, we're 10 years old, I want a grab bar.
Yeah, well, cost at some point, if and when we decide to move forward with that, is a factor, and the reality is that you all pay for that.
It was landmark.
Well, yeah, it was landmark, but somebody has to pay it. In this case, it is the residents, ultimately. It comes out of your budget, right? And so, but again, we just have to make that decision. If it's the right way to go, then we have to figure out a solution. It's a legitimate concern. I hear you. Something we have to face as a community.
A comment about the healthcare information form. I've lived here 7 years, and this is the 3rd time that the same information has been reformatted. Please pick a form and stay with it.
she is helping us out. You know, Caleb is going over to Guilford and he'll be working with her. They have a great relationship. But you know, she's helping us out. She's made it very clear that she wants to remain at West. You know, we want to make sure that Snell is happy no matter where she is. So I think the residents at Guilford have enjoyed her presence as well. You know, so the reality is you know, if Snella at one point said, you know, I'd really like to stay at Guilford, we would really listen to her, but she's made it clear to us thus far that she wants to come back to West. We're thankful for everything that she does for us. She's very committed to Friends Homes. That's the beauty of the whole thing. She loves Friends Homes and she loves you all too.
I have a suggestion also for your mound of dirt that's up near the bridge area over there.
Okay.
It would be nice to have that made in something that would be good for both campuses. I'm thinking about like a nice memory care unit or additional assisted living and healthcare. Something you could combine maybe.
Well, thank you. Yeah, in full transparency, one of our challenges at both sites is the assisted livings. The size of the units we recognize as a challenge. You know, it was fine for 30 years ago, but as time has gone by, I think the desirability of the size of those units and what we include in them is changed. The demand has changed. So, you know, we will add your comments to the list.
Okay.
And there's something about that land. It's, you know, if we think about it, it's right between both sites. There's a unifying opportunity there. And what that opportunity is, we don't know. But the other thing that we're looking at is transportation, right? Transportation is a challenge right now. We use buses. The steps are big, the vehicles are big, and if there's a better way to provide transportation between the two sites, I think that would make things a lot easier for everyone. So we're looking at that as well. That's just one little glimpse.
The last thing I have, if I have one more thing.
Of course.
There is a plot of land, and I don't know if West owns it or the campus owns it. It's below the houses, but you're not mowing the grass there anymore, and it just doesn't look good. And does West or Guilford own that property?
By the bridge?
No, it's going down towards Friendly. It's on the left, if you go out here, it's on the left.
Down at the bottom of the hill?
Yeah,
By the fence?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where's Daryl's? What's the story with that? Now, you know the Greenway is going to go through there eventually. Yeah.
So that property, so the supervisor for the grounds is out on leave right now, so we only got one grounds person here. But talking with the grounds committee here at West, several residents have asked for a more no-mow zones areas, letting the grounds just kind of grow on their own, allowing for different kind of animals and things to come back. So what we've been doing is mowing like 1 or 2 swaths with our mowers just to kind of keep that area kind of cleaned up so that residents can still go down and access it. So there's a resident here that created a hiking path that goes around the backside of campus. So what we've done is we've just mowed the strips there so that path is still intact, but allow the rest of the grounds to kind of just go naturally for now. So the idea is that we'll still mow it, we just won't mow it as frequency, maybe 3 or 4 times a year versus every week. So just because of the grounds personnel kind of being reduced and then just allowing those areas to kind of go naturally too. So a little bit of both for us.
Thank you. Notice we get a lot of deer down there. Yeah. Yes, sir.
There's been a lot of discussion about dog poop. Some of us have cats who have litter boxes that have to be cleaned. I asked sometime what to do with that. Was told to just put it in the trash. Is there a better way?
I don't think so. I think bagging it well, you know, maybe double bagging it, is about it. Yeah. Thank you for the question. I was going to ask you if you're walking your cat.
Jordan, this is a personal question, but I was playing pool one night, and I heard this piano music, and you were playing. You're amazing. It's wonderful. But also, during that conversation, you talked about your family, and you were looking forward to them moving up. Have they moved up yet?
I'm so glad that I said maybe I should say something. But yeah, my family, we made the journey last week. And so we purchased a home in Brown Summit, and we got a little bit of land, which is really special. If you know, if you're from Florida, all the houses are on little quarter lots, scatter lots, and we're so pleased to have a little bit of land. The family's up here. So since we arrived, we're still surrounded by boxes. Nothing is hung up on the walls, but we found time to buy some chicks. We bought 4 little baby chickens. I don't know all their names yet, but they all have names. I know there's Cleo and Dolly are 2 of the chickens. We've had a number of fire pits in the evening, and my son has just had a blast fishing. He's catching all kinds of fish up here, and so
Would you remind me of your children's names? I never met them.
Sure. My oldest is 18, and her name is Avalie, and my 16-year-old daughter is Trevi. My 12-year-old son is Fisher, and my 9-year-old son is Costa.
Congratulations for them being up here. I know you're happy to have them.
Thank you. I am. It's been 8 months. We thought when we made this move, it would be maybe 2 months. We'd sell the house and it'd be up here, and it just didn't work out that way. But I'm so thankful for the time that I've had on my own up here to be here later and to see the residents playing cards and join in the dining rooms, and walk, it's been a blessing to be here. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so thankful for this role. I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. So thank you for asking me.
I hope you'll give a concert. People need to hear you play. It was beautiful.
Maybe one day. Yeah. Or you can just sneak in. You might find me one time. Thank you.
Let us know when you're selling fresh chicken's eggs.
Well, there's 6 of us. We consume them. I think we'll consume them faster than we can sell them. And they're not cheap, right? $9 a dozen. Yes, sir.
Jordan, when we got here in August, y'all were negotiating the television. Now, I'm an attorney who practiced negotiations for 32 years. And I don't think I ever had an 8 or 9 month, no result. My clients weren't that patient. Okay? So, I'm tired of seeing, unfortunately, this channel is not available. Or, last weekend, I had the privilege of all of a sudden, none of the sports were coming through. I turn on the guide and go down, and every one of them. Now, how that happens, I don't know. But, what's gonna happen to us guys in villas, or the people down in the cottages or whatever, with regard to television and getting the thing hooked up? And I assume we're still paying for it.
Yeah, we are. We are. Yeah, it's not as simple as a simple contract negotiation. I do recognize what you're saying. There's major infrastructure challenges that we have, in particular with the villas. And what was installed makes a lot of sense to everybody. What is available to us is the challenge. We are negotiating with Spectrum. At the same time, we're also still working with Single Digits to try to improve their service. So there's a number of things. I actually reached out to the gentleman who started Single Digits recently, and I just asked for an accountant, send me what you've been working on lately, so at least I know. There's been a number of equipment changes, updates, restarts. There's engineers working on it. I think at the end of the day, the residents they just want the TV to work. It's like, you're probably tired of hearing this. I'll be honest, I'm tired of saying it as well. We want this to work as much as you want this to work. We are not dragging our feet. This is not a money issue. We have obtained quotes to install infrastructure at all of the homes where it doesn't exist. We're ready to go with that. We've been back and forth with a number of different things. And we're dealing with two different devils here. We've got basically two options and none of them are good. Anybody who's dealt with Spectrum in their home probably knows that it's a challenge. Magnify that by 450 units, and it's just in multiple departments. You know, the guy that we have to negotiate with has zero authority. Every time we ask for something, he has to go get some type of information, approval. It's ridiculous, and I'll tell you, it's above me. I'll tell you, there's others at a higher level that are working and with much greater titles, and it's been extremely frustrating. I'll be honest, I've never encountered this before. I've converted much bigger communities to all new services before with much more ease, and I truly believe that we are hamstrung in many ways by what is available to us here as far as providers go. There is no simple solution to this. We are very close, we hope, to a final resolution. When we were just about to sign the contracts, Spectrum threw another curveball in. So we were at the point of identifying the specific units that needed the service, including common areas, going over unit counts, confirming back and forth. And the moment I mentioned, hey, your count is incorrect, the entire understanding of the agreement changed. It's very frustrating. We are just as frustrated as you. We spent a lot of man hours on this project, and we've been, to the best of our ability, very transparent with the Buildings and Grounds committees, and I stood here before you and I've shared a very similar message. We're very frustrated. Just as recently as 2 days ago, corresponding back and forth. It's not once, it's not twice, it's many times that we are trying to work on this. You must be sick of hearing that. And if I was to put myself in your shoes, I would be too. And I would be saying the same thing. Don't care. I just want cable. I just want the sports channels to work. I don't care about all that. Just get it fixed. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. I'm so sorry about this. Yeah. Like I said, not a money issue. It's a matter of the size of Spectrum, I believe. And we've had some difficulty with single digits. We said, hey, while we're working on negotiations with Spectrum, let's at least try to optimize what we have existing. Maybe we can get it to work. Maybe we don't have to make a transition. But they just haven't been able to do that. And there's been multiple attempts. Multiple tries, hypotheses, tested, failed. I just spoke to a resident in the villas today and said, hey, how's it going? Tell me what's going on. It's not good. It's not good. So we're gonna.
So what's gonna change?
Well, what we're hoping that will change is that we just move away from single digits altogether for their cable service and go to Spectrum. Because that's the only real provider that exists as a competitor. The challenge is that Spectrum is just not a good partner and they're not playing ball with us. There's a lot of red tape that we're trying to get through. If you had a single family home, this would not be an issue. Yeah, single family home, this would not be an issue. That's not the problem. That would be very simple. Mark Ford is an expert at this point in explaining the infrastructure challenges, and if you'd like to speak with Mark, he'll do a far better job than me. He's definitely learned through this whole experience, but I do want to thank you for your patience. I know it's wearing thin. Any other questions? If not, we're going to make our way to the Guilford campus and do this all over again. Thank you for joining. Have a great day.